All right, folks, here we are on our first lesson for Latin II, and we're going to pick up right where you finished with Miss Habriel, and that means that we are in lesson 31 on haec, hoc, uh, which is the near demonstrative pronoun. Near demonstrative means you're pointing at something. However, before we begin, I wanted to teach you the Lord's Prayer in Latin. So here it is, and I'm going to say it, and then I'd like you to just go back and repeat it a few times. Pater noster qui es in caelis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in caelo et in terra. Panem nostrum quotidianum da nobis hodie, et dimitte nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimittimus debitoribus nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo, quoniam tuum est regnum et potentia et gloria in saecula. Amen. So please pause and listen to it again and see if you can repeat it after me a couple of times. All right, a couple of things to note here is you have a relative pronoun, qui, right in the first line, and then you have the verb of being, es, who art in heaven. And then we've got some subjunctives used here as wishes. That's on page 300. And there's some passives, right? See that tur, sanctificetur, let your name be sanctified, be treated as holy. Again, some subjunctives used as wishes, adveniat, may your kingdom come. Then we've also got some imperatives, da nobis, give to us our daily bread today. Et dimitte, release us from our debts. And then dimittimus, as we release our debtors, as we forgive our debtors. So I'd like to begin our lessons with this because I just think it's a good discipline. All right, moving on. So here we have our near demonstrative paradigm. So this is on your grammar on page 36. And so it's section 133. We're looking at the top. And I'm going to go ahead and put next to it on the next page the relative pronoun. You can see a lot of similarities. Let's look first at the plural. So the plural is very much like your first and second declension plural nouns, right? E orum isos is, a orum is as is, ec orum is ec is. And again, the neuters, the nominative and the accusative is always the same. It's up in the singular that you might get into some problems, and that's why I wanted to go ahead and put this relative. It's very similar to the relative, except you have the H at the beginning instead of the Q and CU, and then you have the C at the end. And so if you can remember that H at the beginning and the C at the end, you should be able to pick this up if you know your relative pronoun and your relative adjective. All right, so I'd like you to pause right now and read through this several times. Hic, huius, huic, hunc, hoc, haec, huius, huic, hanc, hoc, hoc, huius, huic, hoc, hoc. All right, so let's do that a couple of times, and then you will have the paradigm down. And so this would mean like this road, of this road, to for this road as an object, by with from this road, okay? Or this river, Okay, so these are all this, not that. This and these, the near demonstrative pronoun. All right, let's move on, and we're going to start looking at some exercises.
All right, if you look at the bottom of page 332, we have the uses of these demonstrative pronouns. They can be used as adjectives, modifying a noun, and they usually precede that noun. So, this road, haec via, these soldiers, he milites, something like that. But they can also be used as pronouns. In other words, we can use them absolutely, just sort of all by themselves. So if you have masculine singular hic, it can mean this man, even though you don't have the word vir or homo there. Or you could have haec, meaning this woman. So just be aware that you have these two different usages, and we're going to have two different exercises, one that uses them as adjectives and one that uses them as nouns, uses them absolutely.
So first, we're going to review the exercise you did with Miss Habriel, exercise 343. We're just going to look at the first three here so that we can just kind of learn these forms. So again, you want to have your grammar open to page 36 so you know which one of these it is. So number one, so first we're going to ask which, so cum blank tribuno militum. So what gender number case am I going to need to have to go with tribuno? And I'm going to need an ablative masculine singular. You see that long O at the end of tribuno, which means that it's ablative masculine singular. Only masculines and neuters have an O in them at the end. So we need to pick out the ablative masculine singular, and it is hoc with a long O. By the way, I'm not always going to put all the macrons in when I do these lessons, but when it's very important for you to pick it out, I will try to put those in. All right. So what form, so it's going to, how do I translate this with this tribune of the soldiers? Militum is genitive plural, so it means of the soldiers. So the tribune is like a commanding officer with this tribune of the soldiers. Cum hoc tribuno militum. All right, number two, per blank silvas. So what form do I need? What gender number and case? I need an accusative, right? Ends in a long AS, not a long IS like the ablative, feminine and plural. So therefore I look on my chart and I need has. It's just exactly the same ending, which again, in the plurals, that will often be the case. The endings will be very similar, not necessarily when you have the singulars. So watch out for that. So how am I going to translate this? Per has silvas, through these woods, through these woods. Number three. Number three, what form do I need? In blank flumen, in blank flumen. So again, this is accusative. Accusative, in with the accusative, it's flumen, it's exactly the same as the nominative, so it's neuter singular, so I need the form hoc, which again is exactly the same as the nominative, because the nominative, accusative, and the neuter are the same. So it's in hoc flumen, and again, this is with the accusative, so I need to translate this as into this river, or upon this river, or against this river. All right, let's take a quick look at just one example from exercise 344, and we're going to look at number two, hoc peccatum, hoc peccatum. How would you translate this? You would translate it as this sin or this mistake, and this is both nominative singular and accusative singular because it's neuter, right? So what if we wanted to put it into the genitive? Why don't you pause and ask yourself, how could you put this in the genitive? In the genitive, it would be huius peccati, huius peccati. So again, the genitive singular here is going to look quite a bit differently from the noun genitive singular. So you got to pay attention and learn that chart. About the dative, again, the dative is going to look quite a bit different than the noun. And it is huic peccato, huic peccato. All right, let's look at this new vocabulary here at the top of page 333. First, we have the word contra, and this is always going to be used with the accusative. It means against or opposite. Now, in English, we talk about pros and cons, and con is essentially short for contra. So again, you could be pro-Trump or con-Trump. You could be pro the government bailout that they're doing right now, or con. You could be contra. So you could have good reasons for going to this college. Those are the pros. You could have bad reasons for going to this college. Those are the cons. And then we have a couple of directional prepositional phrases. A tergo, from the rear, a fronte. So they attacked us a tergo, from the rear, or the cavalry was a tergo, was in the rear behind the soldiers. Or they attacked from a fronte. So these are prepositional phrases, usually using the preposition ab, a. And then finally, we have a adjective, summa, summa, summum, and we get the English word summit. So the highest point of a mountain or a climb is the summit. There's also a famous phrase, the summum bonum. What is the highest good? Summum bonum. So you're going to want to make sure that you know these words, this new vocabulary, as you proceed to these next exercises. Now we're going to look at our exercises. So first of all, we're going to look at number 1 together, and this is hic, haec, hoc as an adjective. So we have sentence 1, haec civitas libera nostra est, hi agri atque he urbes nostrae sunt, itaque pro hac civitate libera contra hostes fortior pugnabimus, atque hos agros et has urbes semper sine mora defendemus. So I've tried to highlight here all the ones that we should pay attention to, all these near demonstrative pronouns. Number 1, haec, is a feminine singular nominative. So we want to translate it as this free state, this free state. The next one is he, a long I, and that's going to be these fields, plural masculine nominative. He goes with urbase, plural feminine nominative. So these cities, so these are plural. This is singular, these is plural. So now how do we translate these sentences? Well, first let's go on to the next sentence. Itaque pro hac civitate. Notice the long A. I didn't put it on here, but it's a long A. So that would be feminine ablative singular for this free state, for this free state. And then we have hos agros, has urbes. So we've changed the case. Can you see which case that we've changed it for? He agre to hos agros, he urbes to has urbes. Can you tell? That's right. We've changed it from nominative to accusative. Nominative to accusative. So we have these fields now as the object, accusative masculine plural, and these cities as the object, accusative plural feminine. All right, so now I'd like you to pause and just see if you can translate the first sentence here. All right, so let's take a look. Haec civitas libera nostra est, this free state of ours. Or you could translate it as this is our free state. Hi agri atque he urbes nostra sunt. these fields and these cities are ours, or these are our fields and cities. How about the next sentence, the second sentence? Pause and see if you can translate it. Therefore, we will fight bravely against the enemy for this free state. So punyabimus, we will fight, fortier, bravely, against the enemy, contra hostes, for, pro hoc civitate, for this free state, and defendimus semper sine mora, we will always defend these fields and cities without delay, sine mora. Okay, so fairly simple sentences here. All right, now let's take a look at exercise 346, and here hic as a pronoun, hic used absolutely without modifying a noun. So exercise number 1, erant in exercitu Caesaris equites alieni, hos Caesar propter fidem et orum atque virtutem verum saepe laudavit. So they've marked off for us the demonstrative pronoun hos. Now, can you parse it for us? So take a second to look at your chart and parse it. And it is masculine accusative plural, masculine accusative plural. So it's at the beginning of the sentence, but it's going to serve as the object of the verb, receiving the action. So it's referring back to the previous sentence, to the equites alieni, these foreigner cavalry. So the first sentence, there were foreign cavalry, foreign horsemen in the army of Caesar, in Caesar's army. And then the next sentence is going to be what Caesar did to these foreign cavalry. So Caesar is in the nominative, laudavit is our verb. It's a singular verb, right? Ends in a T. Caesar praised or often praised, saepe laudavit. So what did he praise? Caesar often praised these or these ones. Now, why did he praise them? That's where our propter phrase comes in. Caesar often praised these for, on account of their faith or their fidelity and true courage. So here, hic is being used absolutely, and so it's just translated as these or these ones.